live. What are you looking at? You're looking at large, raid, red thread, red-handled tool bags. A friend of ours had a bunch of this stuff, and he just ordered one and put in notes, hey, can I get it this way? So we built it for him, and we built some extras. There might be sold out by now. I think a text went out an hour or so ago. We've also got small black OD handle, which have never been made before. And then we have black OD handle, large and small. Smalls have never been made. Larges have in the past. There's been a run or two of them. Leonard Fisher, welcome. What's up, buddy? How are you? Looks like I still have a day pack. I would suspect that's probably sold out. We've got a bunch of slings. Every sling for the most part. Buck naked, what's up? Are you buck naked right now? Cody S, what's going on? Chuck Peoples, how are you? Josh Winnie, what's up, man? I haven't seen you on here. We've got some black OD NSW admins. We've got some compact tear-offs. I've also got multicams. We've got some Doc Cocks. RBD, what's up? Jonathan Cam, what's up? Mr. D. Kerber, what's going on? James Barden, what's up, man? Love the clickbait title. Did it work? Oh my God, it's the worst one yet. Oh my God. Cats and dogs fucking each other having puppy kittens. Isn't that how we do it, right? That's how we do it. Oh my God, this is the worst one yet. You say that literally every fucking day. I'm just going to pull out some random shit. I'm going to have each employee bring me some random fucking weird thing from their house. And I'm going to set them on a table and tell you that this is the last chance to get it. And I'm going to make up a story about each one of them, even though I probably don't even know what the fucking items are. Isn't that literally like the fucking prepper space on YouTube now? You make a video, and then I recopy and make your same fucking video with slightly different words. I think I could take their videos and literally make them word for word. Was the large tool bag OD? No, they're black with OD. I've been out buying all the cat. Yeah, because they're running out of cats, right? You don't need to worry about growing protein, right? Just plant bird seed, and it will sprout birds, right? Grow the birds up. They're running out of cats to make cat food. Mr. D, what up? I've been out buying all the cat food. Brian Moreno, good evening. What's up, buddy? Totally made me laugh, Cody. Handy Harvey. What's a trip is when I post those, dudes like have no clue. They're like, what's going on? Is there a shortage on cat food? Like some dudes are like, what the fuck is this all about? And then other dudes are like, what's up with the Prepper One fucking skit? Motherfucker, I've been doing it for weeks. Like we have full blown fucking videos that have a script to them on YouTube. This is the first time I've ever read anything from a script, and I'm fucking horrible at it. Horrible. Uplink is dragging, probably even worse now that I'm out here. I spent all day starting birdseed. Got a box of badass today. April Fool's Day was great. Right on, Byron. Don't tell them what it is. Lone Star, what's up? It's people saying breaking new info, nobody has it, starts tomorrow. Yeah. That's what all of it is, right? I've got this source that I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'm going to tell you to do some shit that I'm doing, but I'm not going to show you that I've done any of it. Came as fast as I could. What did I miss? Spirko walking through his duck pond grow system in today's video was badass. I didn't see that, Josh. I started watching it, and something's happened with our cell service here. When I walk out of the building, I have no service. I reboot the phone, I have no service. I put it in airplane mode and take it off, I have no service. I turn off mobile data, turn it back on, I have no service. Amanda says it's because they killed all the 3G on all the towers. And I said, yeah, but that doesn't matter because we're 5G. She's like, yeah, but there's no 5G tower here. So we're kind of in limbo, I guess. We went from having like I used to be able to kind of do a live feed outside. I can't do any live feed outside. Like I literally can't even listen to YouTube videos outside. So I don't know what. So I was listening to Spirko's video, went outside, lost it, and didn't finish watching it. We're doing a live tomorrow at 12:30. Jack Spirko, myself, and Nicole. We will be live, fireside chat. So if there's anything you want to talk to any three of us about, anything you want to say or mention, jump on there. If you have no interest, jump on there anyways and leave some comments. It's good for the algorithms. The tower you can see out the door still there. Josh, I can see 5 fucking towers out the door now. From the property when you walk outside at night, without even going up the hill, I can see 5 fucking towers now. They have literally put towers in every half mile. There's a fucking tower here. I think there's more towers here than the city has. Like more dense. We don't have we ran Cat 7. So even my service inside has been shit. And I've got these Google spots or whatever the fuck these are. I've got these things, which are these Wi-Fi boosters. It's got my own network on here that only Amanda and I are on. But we ran cable. We ran this cable from here all the way up the hill. And we have not plumbed it in. I've not ever attached it. So there is not an extender outside. Any black tearaway panels available to ship? I don't know the answer to that. Just order one if you need it. Otherwise, you're not going to get one. I've been having the same problem with my phone, full bars. So I'm showing 4G on my service. Up until a week ago, I always showed 5G. My phone always said 5G, and for the last several weeks, I'm looking to see what it says right now. It doesn't say shit right now. Because I'm inside, I guess. But it normally says 5G when I'm outside, and for like the last couple of weeks, it always shows 4G. We drive to Jackson. Almost every weekend, we'll drive to Jackson and have lunch. And there's usually about a 5-minute gap, 2 5-minute gaps where I have no service. It's about a 45-minute drive. I would say that 25 minutes of the drive now has 0 service. Even when I bring my Wi-Fi hotspot, my mobile router. Yeah, the real 5G is not on, but I have 0 service. I have worse service right now than I've had in the entire 15 years I've lived here. Got my eye on 2-point sling, but wife just had big surgery. Should be able to get one in a few weeks. We run them all the time, Cody. We run them all the time. Hope the wife is okay, man. Go in there and just make her laugh. I'm sure she'll appreciate that. If she just had surgery, I'm sure she's sore, buddy. Don't do that. Yeah, 5G is quicker but less range. That's why they're putting so many in. It's supposed to be the Internet of Things. They're going to replace all light bulbs are going to be boosters. All appliances are going to be boosters. Anything that plugs in is going to be a 5G booster. Update towers on your phone with a code. Look it up for service. The government is trying to stop PP1. That's probably it, right? That's about when PP1 started, wasn't it? I always like asking the cellular places what's the difference between 4 and 5G. Yeah, they sure are fast to sell you the 5G. What's best estimate time frame when people start to panic and law and order break down? I don't know the answer to that. And it's going to be different where you are and where I am, right? We saw a lot of cities completely on fire this last, year, I guess, year and a half. If that shit had happened here in this town, they would have killed people. Like, people literally, like, that shit would not have fucking happened. I'm not saying I would have gone out. I wouldn't have left my fucking property. They would have fucking killed people here for that shit. So it depends where you are. I had that conversation today, and a buddy of mine was like, hey, what do you think is going to happen when these people really can't afford food? Because we were saying, I was making fun of all these dudes talking about how Germany's going up 40 to 60%. So you better hurry up and go buy food because it's going to happen here. Germany's very different than we are. Not saying it won't happen, but fucking clickbait panic videos, you know? And he's like, well, what happens when people, because like fuel's up insanely, right? I need to refuel diesel tanks right now. And what's diesel now? $5 a gallon? When we filled them last time, it was $2, I think $2.60 a gallon. And we thought that was high. Now I got to fill them at $5, and that's 600 gallons of fuel over $5 a gallon. So, I mean, like, what happens when people can't afford gas or because their rent ain't going down? And like here in this town, we have a local Facebook group, and every day there's dozens and dozens of posts. There's hundreds on there at this point of people talking about how their electricity bills just keep going up and up and up and up and up. So what happens when people can't pay that? Well, you're going to have desperate people doing desperate shit, and you're going to have the criminal element more blazingly and boldly out doing it with nobody stopping them. And you're seeing it all over the place. It is happening all fucking over the place. Crime is up. They're not even trying to hide. Like, nobody's prosecuting them. They've just, it's almost like the politicians just said, hey, go out and do crime. We're letting you out of prison. But as as payment for us letting you out, you have to go commit more crime. That's literally what it looks like. There are people stealing catalytic converters left and right. There are people stealing fuel left and right. There's fucking people just out in the open running up and snatching purses and shit. It's happening all over the place. So what's going to happen? I think that's what's going to happen. Like, we've spent an effort in the last few weeks just to make things more difficult here, and it's not going to be the crackhead that comes in here and steals something. It's going to be somebody that just knows, right? A dude that worked on the construction crew here, or a past employee. I mean, we've got 100 probably past employees in the last 5-6 years just on this property. It's going to be one of them dudes. So most people, there's a lot of easier places to get to and do crime than here. But it's just, and it's your low-level criminals that'll be doing it. So the dumb guys. Like, a friend of mine was telling me that they just had a bunch of stuff stolen from their construction lot, all the catalytic converters, and then a bunch of copper and shit was stolen. And like, when you look at it, the path leads right to a certain dude's house. Like, everybody knows who's doing that shit. So just like we're like, I'm literally preparing for that. I'm literally preparing that we will start seeing that shit happen even in this little town. So we just make it harder, right? All the gates are completely fucking locked down. We've got concrete barriers we're actually putting in front of some of the gates, so you couldn't get through there if you fucking wanted. If you had to, you couldn't get through there. It's to the point where there's people here on this property living here 24 hours a day. Like, when somebody's gone, there's always more people here. So, I mean, that's just how things have to be. And I think you're going to see that happen more and more, but it's going to be worse in the cities. Sadly, people are going to play stupid games and win stupid prizes. Great Wolf, I think so too, man. I think you're literally like on the cusp of that. And we're literally just one bad day, one bad disaster from that happening. Like, I think you're going to see a lot of small towns where when criminal elements come in, they're going to kill those people and literally put them on the roadways on the way into town. You'll see people hanging from fucking stoplights. You'll see people hanging in Court Square as a deterrent. If you come in here, somebody will kill you if you come in here with bad intent. Deep discount on cat food. Got the visor covers, man. They're sick. Aren't they nice, man? They're especially I'm assuming you got woodland ones. What do you think is a good prepper group size? What's the biggest and what's the smallest? Well, John Paul Jones. I'm probably not the person to ask because I'm a terrible leader. I am not good at leading people, and I'm good at attracting people, but I'm very fucking fast. Like a lot of people will do what it takes to get here, but they won't do what it takes to stay here. And you'll catch me on the wrong day, and I'm like, okay, you're done. You 10, you can stay, but you 3, get the fuck out of here. Like if you demonstrate ability and then you have proven you can do it multiple times, but then you slack off, like I'm really fast to just fucking get out of here. Like, and the trip is I want to grow this organization. I want to grow this and I want to have people that want to be a part of it and have manpower to be able to do much bigger things off property and outside of here. But unfortunately, when you remove half of the fucking workforce, it's amazing. When you remove half of the workforce, you get twice as much work. Because what you find is when you get rid of the problem child or the problematic people or the people that always have something, there's always something wrong, right? You know they're never going to be functioning on Monday because they drank on Saturday and Sunday. It's always the last person in the door. The fucking never can get on time here. Last person in, but always the fastest. Knows right when fucking break is and when it's time to leave. But they can't ever get here on time. Like those people, right? When you fucking cut them out, it's almost like, and I can tell you why it is. It's because 10% of the people in any workforce do 80% of the work. And it might be a little different, right? It might be 30% do 70% of the work, but it's typically 10% do 80% of the work. And when you cut out those problematic people, it frees the good ones up to be even better. And I hate it that that's how it is, but unfortunately that's how it is. So how many people in your group? Well, loose lips sink ships. If you have secrets, who are they telling them to? That's the problem, right? Who are they telling them to? Is your girl out on girls' night fucking talking to her friends about how her fucking husband spends too much money on storage food? Now everybody she's talking to knows you guys have storage food, right? It's usually the spouse that is the problem. Not the spouse, maybe the kids. Have you had a conversation? You need to keep your mouth closed about it. But when it comes time to eat this shit and people come knocking on the door, people will murder your friends. Like I heard a very close friend of mine tell that to his kids. Don't let your friends know this, because when they come here, I will have to kill them. Like those are real conversations. And nowadays, the crazier part is that even having that conversation with your child, the way they've been indoctrinated and manipulated, they would go to school with their teacher that and being, I'm sure of them were running their mouths and they thought they had it terribly here. But I don't have kids in school. My kids are all adults now. So it's a tough position. I don't know what the answer is, man. The more you have, the better, but the more you have, the bigger the problems as well. Episode The Shelter. I have not, man. I have not. Crazy. I just had this conversation with a buddy yesterday and how slow cell service has been lately. Steve Bishop, what's ending? I don't know. You tell me what's ending. I have my spouse buried under the porch. Ain't that the truth? The Blend Tech, my department started with 30, then it went down to just 3 of us. It's always the guys with the shitty attitudes, always complaining and crying, end up bringing everyone down. I work with a dude like that, and I'm in a bad mood all day when I work with him. It's like a cancer. Yeah, if you get around a dude that's negative, it's never going to be as good as if the dude could be positive. Like, you were there for a reason. Leave all your other bullshit out. And when you have an employee within the company, if he's complaining and doesn't have solutions, that guy has to go. Because he's a capable to manipulate, not manipulate, I have allowed them to alter my judgment, right? I have made poor decisions based on other people. And all I can do is go forward and try to be better, you know? Been stacking buckets, water and gravel. I'm ready, right? So keep your water in your gravel. It's a dual purpose, right? Keep your water in your gravel. There's plenty of air in there, and then it also stops bullets better. All right, so let's get this. 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 Let Watch National Geographic movie American Blackout. So they've done a bunch of those. I think there's probably something to that. I think when it goes bad, it's going to be way worse than anybody can even imagine. I think that our biggest problems will be your government, your politicians. Think about that. In all the prepper movies, right? It's never mortars being used against those guys. It's never drones. It's never rockets. It's never armored personnel carriers. It's always like motorcycle gangs or some, retards made it in, like The Walking Dead kind of shit, right? Imagine if your enemies had mortars. How would you defend against that? Iridium Group, what's up? Living Free, what's up? Hey, what's going on? Don't waste bodies, feed the hot. Yeah, you're going to feed them to dogs or pigs, yeah, for sure. Whole group of people that have been taken the easy way by stealing and mooching the past few years. Now it's just amplified tenfold. So if you want to see normal society, right? A lot of us are compartmentalized. I'll go an entire week and not leave this property. Sometimes I'll go 2 weeks or even 3 weeks and not leave this property. Compartmentalized, right? If you want to see what most of society is, go out during business hours and look at who's not at work. Because people who are working aren't out in that atmosphere. Go to Walmart during business hours. Footy pajamas, Chrysler 300s parked in the handicap, dirty diapers, that kind of shit. Somehow they're able to go shop on the first, but they don't earn any of the money. They steal that money from others to give to those who don't. What do you think happens when they get a little fucking... What do you think happens the first time them EBT cards don't run? Well, I have to feed my kid. Got my Mandrake tool bag tonight? Right on. Right on. Live in a retirement town where elderly don't seem concerned, crime very low. In Venice, Florida, do you think older communities will be at higher risk in societal breakdowns? I don't know, man. I don't know. Is it a high money area? How's the law enforcement? I don't know the answer to that, man. I would think that seems like an easy target. I would think people who need pills and painkillers and meds, I would think that those would be easy targets for those people. We have like 12 dudes in our group. It's not very big, but the problems are minimal and everyone brings something to. That's awesome. That's great. That's great. It's never, I like to say it's never a problem until it's a problem. And I don't know your dynamics. I don't know your dynamics at all. Just ordered a large black OD tool bag. Appreciate the black gear y'all been running. Right on, man. James, that'll ship tomorrow, man. Fat Nuts, what's up? Walmart during the week, mid-morning is enough to never go back those times again. I think you need to, though. You need to know what it's really like, right? Because the world is not what we think it is, because most of us don't spend time thinking about what the world is. But when you go to the same places you go during different hours, it's a very different dynamic. See you this summer. Just got my time off approved for alumni. Right on, man. We are not doing an event here, Alumni Weekend, this year. We intentionally changed our dates to a month prior. I'm sure I will be around some, but we're not having a big deal like we normally do. We've been doing the Self-reliance festivals. The next one is in June. It's June 10th, 11th, and 12th. And the one following that will be in October. I wanted something that was kind of a fall festival. Thinking, pumpkins, hay bales, fucking that kind of stuff. A little bit cooler, coming into fall crops. It's a shift change. That's a good way to put it, man. Which country is going to come drop U.S. insurgents off RPGs and armored vehicles to fight for our freedom when the time comes? No, those will be used against us. More and more the rhetoric has been made to make us the bad guys. Freedom-minded individual means domestic terrorist. The fuck is a domestic terrorist? But they sold it. They sold the lingo, they sold the term, and they use it more and more and more. And they've written law that anybody who changes the minds of another U.S. citizen to believe anything opposing what the government tells them is to be considered a domestic terrorist. John, that's not what that says. If you don't think that's what that says, you go ahead and type them words in and you read the fucking words that are there. I prefer to resupply during work hours, shorter lines. Then you know exactly what I'm talking about because you have seen it. Now you live, I know city girl. Slow down there, big city girl. I know. You've been in California and you've been in Oregon and Washington. I know you've seen crazy shit. But whatever Walmart you're shopping at, it is not like the Walmart here. You ever see Jerry Springer? You ever see the website or the I don't even know if that Facebook page is around, People of Walmart? They film most of that shit here. Domestic terrorist is the majority of the higher level politicians. Yeah, the real ones, yes. A true one, yeah. If you stop and think about, pick the 3 biggest problems in your life. Most of them come from politicians. Think about how your life has changed in the last 24 months. And the new things that have been imposed on you, new taxes coming down, elevation, and everything's elevated except your pay. And ask yourself, was it a politician's doing that had anything to do with any of them? Look at Trudeau did to a bunch of truckers with bouncy castles. What did he do to them? I mean that for real. Like, I don't know what he did to the truckers. I know that anybody that donated, they froze those people's bank accounts. I haven't heard of any of those people getting their money back. Prepare to arm not only yourself, but others in your neighborhood, or only worry about yourself. John, should you? Would you let them in your house while you're asleep? Would you let them come into your house when your kids are home and you're not home? Because that's who we're talking about, right? If the answer is no, do you really want to give those people guns? What you're probably going to find is that your neighbors who you don't think have guns probably have fucking guns. Got the Self-Reliance Festival beer at Walmart, right on. Once they stop people from working freely and use the key phrase essential worker, I knew what time it was. That's right. How many people thought they were essential and were told they weren't? Yet Walmart and Lowe's was completely essential. And who went along with all the bullshit, right? Who put the most arrows on the floor and had the dystopian fucking broadcast playing every 60 seconds in their stores? Lowe's did that. Walmart did that. Some of the Walmarts had goddamn gates, like a fucking Disneyland ride. You can't get through there until they let you through there. People went drunk with fucking power up until the point when they had normal people acting as bouncers and they started getting the shit kicked out of them. When people had enough, you started seeing those Walmart greeters fucking holding their hands out and not letting people in. There was a lot of people got their fucking teeth knocked out. Walmart rethought that shit pretty fucking quick. I went to a Walmart in Paris, Tennessee, and they had 2 fucking RoboCops in there. Some big, huge chick works at Paris PD and another officer, fucking completely blacked out gear, body armor, fucking Glock 19 or some kind of Glock pistol. Huge bitch, like a linebacker. And they were closing at 8 o'clock. Patriots. Yeah, Patriots are good. I like Patriots. Whoever narrated that book, they should fucking have somebody else narrate that shit. It's the worst motherfucking reader in the fucking world. Terrible fucking audiobook. Completely takes away. I read Patriots years ago. Those gates were the stupidest. It's still there, Dakota, isn't it? They have them at the one in Jackson. Still has them. They're not closed, but they're there. My wife works at Sam's in the cafe. Still has to wear. Yeah, I always want to ask those employees, like, are they making you do this? Because nobody in here is doing this. Quit shopping at Walmart. Been in a Walmart probably once. Good for you, man. Good for you. Still a ton of people who love telling you to put a mask on. I have not fucking, I don't think anybody told me to put a mask on. We went a couple places and they said you had to have a mask. And I said, no, thank you. And we left. A couple of those, like there's a place that I fucking spent major fucking money and we have not been back. Like I guarantee that they miss the amount of money I was spending in their business. Fairview Walmart would always yell at me for not wearing a mask. Dude, they had a dude with a 1911 cocked and locked standing in Sam's Club, had some deer horn grips on his gun. At fucking Sam's Club over masks. Jackson pulled theirs a couple weeks ago. I was there 2 weeks ago on a weekend. They had those gates there. If you're thinking of act different from the way your government wants you to, then you are. Yeah, I agree, man. I agree. They have done enough horrendous shit that they are worried about the fucking tree of liberty being watered. And that's why they're spending all this money and passing all this regulation. And you're hearing all this verbiage so that when they start rounding them up and putting them in these fucking camps, prisons, society will be okay with it. They desensitize you to these things. Moved 4 or 5 downed 90-foot tall trees, cut into 9 and 13-foot lengths for sawmills. Have done about 25 over the last 2 weeks. John, what are you using to do that? We put in 6 fig trees today, 6 big blueberries, taller than I am. 6 blueberries, big, huge ones that were dug out, and we've just replanted them on this property. They were dug out from another place. And then we drilled out. I've got 27 holes drilled right now, ready to put fruit trees into them. We have some holding water, so we're gonna have to recut our culvert that comes around the whole front of the property. I'm gonna bring it down probably 24 inches maybe, and probably 24 to 30 inches wide. And then we're gonna take the holes that are back from that for the trees, and we're going to cut a 6-inch trench into them at a downhill. We're going to fill those trenches with gravel and then cover them over. So basically it'll allow the holes that we're planting the trees in, it'll allow them to weep out. It'll allow them to leak downhill so that it doesn't rot the roots out. And then by the time they finally take hold, they won't be an issue past that. I need a skid steer just for the hydraulic auger. It is a force multiplier. Every time I get in that skid steer, literally every single time we use it, I go, I do not know how we did any of this shit without this equipment. Even when we had a small tractor, the tractor wouldn't lift half the shit I tried to scoop up with it. The skid steer lifts it up over its head. I can drop it over fences. I can use it as a forklift. Like tracks, like we were off camber today, and I was telling Tad, I go, you notice how he's backing up a lot of times and taking really long runs. He's doing multi-point turns so we don't scrape the topsoil off of the top down to rock. We've spent a lot of time building the soil. So you couldn't do this though with wheels. And Cody's like, yeah, tracks really do damage, and they do. But there's no way with wheels we could have done what we did today. It would have taken 3 times longer and not been nearly as safe. Chainsaws to bring the trees down. cut them in lakes or links, and then pick them up and move them. Grappled on Kubota, right on. When government fears the people, there is liberty. When the people fear the government, there's tyranny. Yes. Yes. My wife's ICU nurse fired for not taking the vax. A nurse for 22 years retired or fired at 50. So there's some good to it to get to spend time together. Sorry to hear that. We're hearing more and more of it. I guess there's a group of SEALs that have taken it to court, and it was just ruled in court, I think Supreme Court, high level court, said that their religious freedom and that doesn't belong to them because you signed that away when you went in the military, basically. There's still apparently companies pushing individuals right now to still take vaccines, but you've got all these major cities that said we're not doing that shit anymore. I don't know how everyone hasn't realized that we live to support the government. They feed off of you. Just like the Maasai, when they fucking milk that cow and then they make slits in it and bleed that cow and mix the blood with the milk. That's what your government is. Your government, you have two kinds of people in society. You have people that do things and make things and provide a service that others want to pay you for. And then you have people that do jobs that nobody wants to pay, but you are forced to use their services. Those are bureaucrats. Think DMV. Think most government agencies and offices that you have to DMV, for instance. You have to go and do their registration bullshit. You have to go and do their smog bullshit, right? Does anybody want to use those services? No. But if you don't use those services, they'll put you in jail. And if you don't show up to court, they will send people with guns willing to kill your family in the middle of the night if the situation goes slightly wrong. I like to think that, like, when the power goes out or when there's a major storm or, I don't know, when coffers run dry and they can't pay those people, what will those people all do? Think about that. Are you one of those people? Do you have a job or a skill or the ability to produce something that other people will seek you out to pay you or trade you things you need for what you do? And if the answer is no, you better make yourself more valuable. When we're all on a level playing ground, like if there was an EMP or if the power went out, right? Tax collector ain't knocking on your door. The banker's not knocking on your door because they ain't paying that motherfucker either. You put in apple and peach trees, blueberry, currant bushes, blackberries, fig, hickory almond trees, and about to plant pecan trees. That's on top of the vineyard, and well, you got it going the fuck on. You should start a YouTube channel. That's awesome. What AA batteries do you buy? Energizer, copper top. I buy them typically at Sam's Club or Costco, and then I buy a lot of lithiums also. Welder here, always looking for sight. Yeah, everybody has some metal that they need stuck together, always. Half the court cases don't need to exist. We have, you've got fucking 100 laws, all for the same thing. Half the court cases don't need to exist. I'd say it's way more than half don't need to exist. But that's the same thing with taxes, too. There's a thing called Texit, right? It's like leaving Texas, Texas leaving the union. Texit. And if you look that up, the man that runs Texit, Jack Spirko, had him on his show. He said over 65% of taxes in Texas have nothing to do with modern day times. Think like cobblestone tax, horse and buggy tax, shit like that. It doesn't even exist in modern society. Yet the tax never goes away. You still pay the tax, they just add more tax on top of it. What is it said? The average U.S. citizen, the average U.S. citizen spends 65% of his money on taxes. Way too busy planting food, seeds for next year. Right on, buddy. Right on. When are you on? You're going on the Survival Podcast. When is that show happening? Could you imagine if Warren Buffett were to audit the government like he does any of the companies he invests in. So while we're speaking about Warren Buffett, you know that pipeline they shut down? You know the pipeline they shut down for the natural gas and the oil they were moving through the pipeline from Canada, you know, bringing all that fuel into the United States? Do you know how they're moving that fuel now? It's moving through train line. Do you know who bought all those trains about 6 months prior to that happening? Warren Buffett did. A Glocka paycheck. Convention of States, first tax was to pay for the Civil War. Yep. And how much was that? How about World War I? How much tax was that? That was a 1% tax in World War I? Everything you produce for yourself is not taxed. We have tax-free food in the holler. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Got my shipping confirmation today. Can't wait for more chest rigs and bags. Right on. What about inevitable cyber attack? I don't know. Klaus Schwab? How can anybody take that motherfucker serious? You know, have you seen the video of him on the beach in high heels with nipple clamps and a white negligee dressed up as like a woman in nightie? Have you seen that? That's the motherfucker that's the head of the IMF, International Monetary Fund. Do you buy a lot of batteries like AA and I think you meant AAA? I probably have a few hundred, maybe more. I mean, usually you'll come. Yeah, there's a few sitting there, but I mean, I have fucking bins of those. These are just the ones that are open, and then somewhere in here there's another box of them. But I have a lot of them. I don't really use them. But I mean, I suppose if the power went out, we'd be using them like crazy. I've also got rechargeable ones, and I've got solar panels, and I've got some Goal Zero stuff. Keystone XL pipeline closed, and now Buffett is moving that. That's correct. Yeah, go ahead and look that up. How many 12-gauge pull-out pouches do you have? None. That's probably why you can't order any of them. What kind of plastic do you recommend putting in the bottom of my new deplorables bag? So we don't put anything in there because it would literally double the cost of shipping to be able to put that thing in a box. I would tell you get a fucking piece of plywood, or go to Home Depot and find anything that you have the capability of cutting and dock the corners and just put it in there. So if you can't cut fiberglass, you know, don't get fiberglass, but any rigid wood, hardboard, plastic if you can find it. Cutting boards are great if you can find a piece big enough. Look for a local plastics company. Go in there and find something you like. Milton Friedman laid the foundation for payroll deductions, which insulates folks from knowing how much. That's a good point. That's not true what was said about the taxes on something you create yourself. Buy a piece of property, then build a nice, beautiful house on your property. Watch your property tax quadruple. They do that here, and they've got to be flying drones around or something. I put gravel down, and my taxes go up. I put a storage shed on the property, my taxes go up. We do improvements on the property, my taxes go up. The motherfucker walked in this building when he got the new position and said, "Can I look upstairs?" And I said, "For what?" "Well, we just want to assess what's upstairs." I said, "You don't have enough guns with you." He said, "What?" I go, "You don't have enough fucking guns? Leave this fucking property. Don't ever come back here." He didn't. I said, I will spend every fucking dime I have to make sure you don't have your job next year. We haven't heard from him since. So here, it's not just property. Like you think property tax is real estate. Not here. They want to assess tax on all these sewing machines. I have a building up the street. another building, the old shop. It's full of stuff. They look through the window and assess the fucking property tax on the stuff. Oh yeah, UHMW, just like they use for skid plates on razors and shit, that would be perfect in those bags. I have a video of a drone going over 930 when the dog's foot was hurt. I've had a lot of people telling me drones are flying around in the fucking dark, like multiple drones. I don't know how they know. I mean, I guess if a drone went over, I would know it wasn't a helicopter or a plane. Amanda has seen drones outside. I haven't personally seen any drones, and I don't know when people are saying drones, right? I fly drones almost every day. Are we talking like Mavic drones? Are we talking like octocopter, big drones like you could stand on and it would lift you? Or are we talking military drones? Must have some kind of incentive system for those guys to be out raising your taxes. Maybe. Here, I've caught them looking in the windows of the house. The first time one of them dudes doesn't show back up at the end of the day, the rest of them will question whether they want to do that job. During Prohibition, everybody knew where the stills were on the hills in Appalachia because you could see them from the town. You could see the fucking flames. But everybody knew where the sheriff lives. And after they burned down the first couple sheriff's houses, the sheriff stopped doing that. So it was just the feds coming in at that point. Locals wouldn't enforce that shit because they would literally burn their homes down. Tech drone company map nationwide, maybe so. Order 2 shotgun cards, connect back. Order 2 shotgun cards, connect back to back, works similar to shotgun cards in mag pouch. Everyone gets a horse. There better be smart cars. I know there's a bunch of comments back here, guys, that I haven't fucking seen. So retype it out if you want it addressed. The Air National Guard has a drone unit out of Nashville. Yeah, but that's military drones. Are they being used for municipalities? Are they being used for just property assessment? Air National Guard base out in Greeley puts 3 drones up almost every night. I'm a few miles, so I can see them plain as day on the horizon. Oh, I see what you're saying. Scott, everything's great, man. Watch the Lawless movie. I don't think I've seen Lawless. Are we talking about moonshiners again tonight? We were talking about old school moonshiners. Tool bags are the best tool bags I've ever found anywhere. I used to use the old OG USGI ones. Yeah, I had some of those, man. I still have some of those canvas bags. I bet the assessor's higher. Okay, we've read all these. A lot of municipalities have planes contracted to fly over high-resolution video. They use them for all kinds of revenue. Oh, I bet they do. And I'll bet they make so much revenue off of it that it doesn't cost them anything to fly those have those companies hired. Broke out some apple pie for a mutual friend. Trish, just last night. Right on. The fuck's Trisha doing where you're at? They will come to your house here every 10 years or so to update the value assessment, looking for improvements they don't know about. Yeah. Stingray, MIT. Yeah, Stingray. I've had both drones and UH-60 circle the prop. So we have some clients that fly Blackhawks. We've had Blackhawks come here so low, I thought they were going to fucking strike the trees. They've come through. It's actually kind of cool. I mean, once you realize that there's not fucking ropes coming out of that thing, it's pretty cool. I've got too much apple pie here. I don't like it. She was out browsing around, dragged me out to dinner. Right on. She just bought a truck, I guess. A big one. Popcorn Sutton. What do you think the chances of food rationing hitting here since it has started in Europe? I'm thinking October, in my opinion. Cody, you might see it. You absolutely might see that. The question is, will it apply to you? I don't see food rationing applying to me. A lot of the problems during the Great Depression that people had, I'm not in that class. And I guess the real thing is, like, if we had to stop going to the grocery store, could we do it? Yeah. Yeah, a lot of us could. When that happens, though, the rules change drastically because there will be other people looking for what you have. This cat's on something. He's got something over here he's looking at. Gas rationing hit my parents. Now or previously? You mean in the past? Raid Royal Blue tool bags. I don't know the answer to that. Do you have one on order? The old Katanica ATAX Ghost video popped up in my feed. The clothes bags you guys did in that pattern came out. Yeah, they did. We did them with black because of that. I've got Katanicas on right now. When the Army comes over, they're high and loud. So we've seen a lot of helicopters flying through here. Now Clarksville's, we're probably in that flight pattern, but we've seen birds coming through fucking low. Like I saw 3 little birds come through the other day, and they were almost low enough to fucking move dust on the property here. They were coming through pretty low. Mom filled one car while Dad worked, then the other car the next day. Gotcha. I see what you're saying. Odd license numbers. My mom, I remember hearing my mom talk about that. Become a producer rather than a consumer. Yep. Just like play that game with yourself, right? If I go to work tomorrow and the power goes out, what skill do I have? What can I produce? What can I do that is of value to people, that people will give me the things I need for the things I have? And if you don't have an answer to that, you need to evaluate your hobbies. You need to evaluate what do you like to do, what can you do that would be in demand when things change. Got 10 elderberry plants in the ground, right on. And some power washing, very cool. Mountain Appalachian life is why you left Cali. If it ain't yours, don't worry about it. Old moonshiner neighbors, shut up. Didn't call about gas cans like yours. And I don't know what you just said, but you reached down deep. Just went today, filled one buggy, and it was almost $500. Willie, Amanda went to Walmart, brought back 3 bins of groceries. I did not look at I haven't seen the list, the bill for it, right? It comes across my email when those debit cards are used. I didn't pay attention to it when it came through. I can tell you that trip, that truck bed used to have 6, if not 8 of those plastic bins, like we use these folding bins. They're actually really cool. There used to be 6, if not 8 of those, and it was about $350. We fill it up now, it's 3 of them, and it's about $500. We buy considerably less. Like, we haven't bought, she bought some ribeyes tonight. We haven't had ribeye in this building. I don't even know how long. We were eating ribeye. Amanda and I eat ribeye every fucking night. And we've just been eating just and not out of necessity. Number one, ribeye hasn't been there. But just spending more time working. We have put a real emphasis on getting more production and more work. When everybody leaves here, I go outside, use a couple hours of daylight, then I come inside and I start doing what I can to make more orders ship tomorrow. And Amanda does a lot of the same. So she hasn't been cooking dinner. We just eat leftovers, and we've been making an effort to eat more leftovers. Spent over $1,000 a day on resupply event food. Wasn't horrified. John, in Cali, you got turned for gas cans in Cali by the driveway for dirt bikes from PTP. I don't know. So it was 575 today. I can find Ranger Dave, or more likely Dave will find me. We can get a hold of Dave if we need to. Have you ever thought about a team of draft horses? Yeah, I absolutely have. I want to get Percherons. Yes, absolutely. I like the idea of having Percherons. I don't want to have to take care of them. You have two kinds of people that have horses. You have people that have so much money they can afford to have horses, and you have people that have no money because they have horses. How much ammo should you have? As much as you can get. As much as you can get. Do you want me to tell you should have 1,000 of each? I don't think that's enough. As much as you can get. It's not ever going to go down in price. What are the negatives to having goats? They'll climb on all your shit. Everything you want them to eat, they won't eat. Everything you don't want them to eat, they will eat. They will get on your roof. Nicole can tell you that. I mean, goats are easy to take care of. There are different kinds of goats. If you get Spanish goats will forage. Spanish goats will give you twins, if not triplets sometimes. Spanish goats don't need to be vaccinated. But a Spanish goat is also not a 400-pound goat. Boer goats will get 400 pounds on a buck. But you got to vaccinate them. Like, they get chlamydia, they get fucking syphilis, they get all kinds of worms. Like, you literally have to give them shots multiple times a year, especially if you have a lot of them in a smaller area. Goats jump fences. Sheep don't typically jump fences. If you get some hair sheep, they don't usually do that. But I mean, there's goats out there. You buy Greg Judy's goats, and they're very expensive. But if you buy his goats, it's just in their genetics. They do not fucking jump fences. You know why that is? Because when one of his goats jumps a fence the second time, he kills it. It's removed from the fucking gene pool. We don't eat much milk. If I'm having milk, it's because I'm having cereal, and I shouldn't be having any cereal. I know there are people that will give me 100 reasons why I need milk, but we really don't use much milk. Dorper, Cathodon, St. Croix, they're hair sheep. You don't have to shear them. Parasite resistant, more calorically dense. Yeah, so people that get sheep, and I've never had sheep, right? I'm repeating things that I've heard. People that get sheep, you have to pay a motherfucker to come and shear those things. Like, and they look absolutely miserable and horrible until that fur gets cut off of there. Milk makes great cheese. Yeah, I don't eat much cheese. I have a ton of cheese in the refrigerator. I eat a piece of smoked string cheese most days. I guess I do eat a lot of cheese, don't I? I eat a piece of smoked string cheese. Not that bullshit that you pulled out of a wrapper individually. It looks a little different, but it's smoked string cheese. An apple sliced in half with coarse rock salt on it, and a little handful of pretzel chips. And then a lot of times I'll put smoked salmon on the plate also. That's kind of like my second lunch, first dinner. I usually eat that about 4:30. But I would say I don't eat much cheese. Goat birria. So we have birria here, but it's not from goats. I would totally eat goat. What was that knife sharpener you mentioned the other night? Wicked Edge. Picked up 5 pounds of fire. How many rounds is that? Taking mom to familiarize her on pistol. Right on. For a good time, give a goat a trampoline. If when you get off of here, you're gonna get trapped on the internet, right? You know you are. So go find goats on a trampoline or goats on a teeter-totter. Just type in baby goat in like Reels or in TikTok or whatever, and just watch some baby goats. You will want baby goats. It's very entertaining. It's very cute. And it's going to be better than most of the other bullshit you're going to do when you get off of here. Mom's family's from East Kentucky. I could tell some stories about revenuers not coming back from the hills. I've heard them myself, man. I have heard them before too. On your live time, have you had a large increase in people watching? No, really, YouTube is not... I think that I'm very suppressed on YouTube. Let me tell you, I've got 26,000 people on YouTube. I've had over 25,000 for the last 7 or 8 years. We grew very fast in the beginning, and my channel's not really about one thing specifically. So, but it used to be when we would do like a breakfast video. Well, I guess that was Facebook. When I would turn on Facebook, we'd have up to 5,000 people watching. And I would get 25 to 30,000 people by the next morning having watched the video for an average watch time of 18 minutes. I turn on Facebook now and we get maybe 100. I'm on YouTube. There's 118 on here, which is actually a big number compared to normal. I hear of dudes that are making a ton of money on Facebook. And I talk personally face to face with some of these guys, and I'm like, I've pulled $7,000. I mean, YouTube. I've pulled $7,000 off my YouTube. They're like, oh yeah, they got you shadow banned. So, I don't know. When I turn these videos on and walk around, everything that's here sells out. But it would anyways. So that's not a good correlation. I've been eating raw minute oats with cold milk. Add a scoop of latte flavored protein powder. Seth Ferrazzi's company. Yeah, I know Seth. It's a great cereal substitute. Right on. They don't stay babies. Yeah, goats, they don't stay babies. They're super cute, but they don't stay babies. You don't love the goats, Nicole. That's why you keep them in the back of the property. No, nobody loves the goats. Everybody loves goats at somebody else's house. Nicole has my last goat. I had a goat. We had 27 of them, I think. And two guys, two Mexican dudes, showed up in this old pickup truck with some cattle panels and some zip ties and a lasso and a 3-year-old kid. And they lassoed all these goats. A couple days go by and we're having an event here. We've got one of the parties going on. And Nicole comes in and she's like, hey, there's a goat out here. And I go, bullshit, there is no fucking goat out there. I go, show me the goat. So we walk out there. There's no goat out there. She's fucking with me. A couple days go by and I hear a goat. This goat hid while they were catching all the goats, and the goat hid when she brought me out there to show the goats. And we had this little black goat, and she would sleep in the doghouse with the dog and run around and butt heads with the dog, and the goat would go fetch, and the goat lived off dog food. I hadn't bought goat food in years, and the goat, it was here for years. And finally Nicole took the goat home. I dodged the buy your daughter a baby goat bullet years ago. Do we have fupas in stock? Philip, what's up, man? I usually only do milk with... Oh, yeah, I would totally... if I'm eating Oreos, it's got to be milk. If a package of Oreo comes in here, I will eat them in one sitting, and then there won't be any Oreos here. For fupas, I've got Raid, Typhon, and Typhon Royal Blue. If you're the dude with the Typhon red one, those will be coming. You should wait for the one you wanted. Wife wants goats so bad she grew up on a goat farm. I'm not trying to go down that road. James, you got property for goats, man? Have any prepper channels yelled at me? No, what would they yell at me for? You're gonna snag the Typhon railway tomorrow. That's, yeah, I told you that, didn't I? I'll put it over in my bay. So if you're seeing this video and this is online, I highly suggest you don't buy it because you won't be getting it. Got fencing for goats. I can't imagine running the risk of a goat Porsche hood ornament. They do, man. They do. They'll eat your shit too. I saw a video the other day of a dude's fender well that was chewed to shit. It literally looked like something metal termites chewed through the fender well. And it was a fucking Malinois. Literally fucking just chewed the fucking sheet metal of the car. Small farm out in Hickman. Should be in our name next week. Good for you, buddy. Fucking good for you, James. Just imagine how happy your wife would be if you went down the goat road. Oh, you mean his wife? Why, Amanda? You want goats? We can get goats tomorrow. You want goats? Men Who Stare at God. I never watched that. Wasn't that about remote viewing or something? Making the Panic Prepper videos. Hopefully some of them saw it and chilled out. Scott, I'm not trying to get them to do anything different at all. And I think they all have something of value sometimes. I actually do watch some of those guys. There's a couple that just irritate the ever-living shit out of me. And if you read the comments, it's a trip, right? Because the people don't realize what's happening. But I guess on the other side of the coin, at least people are watching that, so they're thinking maybe they should prepare and be less of a victim. Because if you're not preparing, you're going to be a victim. You're going to be just a refugee. Every pandemic movie, every fucking end of the world movie always starts with something that happened in a refugee camp. So you probably shouldn't be in a refugee camp. You probably shouldn't let yourself be put on a train. You probably shouldn't let yourself be put in a COVID camp. You should not get on the bus. When that day comes, the time to fight is right then. Main prepper, shame he took it down. Main prepper. Didn't he get involved with Patriot Nurse? If you want to see some crazy conspiracy shit, look at anybody that's been involved with her. And look at how their lives have gone. Would H-set harnesses make FUPA usable with OSHA fault? No. No, it absolutely wouldn't. Although I don't know shit about OSHA. What's their slogan? Safety third. Do you notice how things have slowed down hugely in the improvement of the United States once OSHA came into existence? What's running tomorrow? I don't know. Had a 1-year-old male alligator that decided he liked in-ground sprinklers above ground. Billy, Dwayne, the other half of Strider Knives, right? Dwayne, his Malinois dug up his entire sprinkler system. About Australian COVID camps. Patriot Nurse Crazy brought on YouTube. I don't think she's that, I think most of what she says has value. She's fucking very well spoken. She's very well spoken. I just happen to know several people who she's been involved with, and it's never goes well. And I mean, maybe they are the problem in every one of those relationships, but the common factor in all of them is that she's the other half of it. Didn't he, so he took his channel down. We're talking about the dude took his channel, went down and went to a psych ward, right? Like had himself committed, psych hospital. I know that fucking she was involved with Paul Gomez, and I know that what she said was very different than what he said sitting on my fucking couch in my shop for fucking 5 hours every day. Very different. And then she got involved with Reed Hendricks, and that all fucking became the mess that it is today. Main prepper went off the deep end shortly after involvement. Don't know if he's still above ground. Freshwater source would be where I would have to travel to, as the river is underground here and the dam in 2 cities away, no topsoil. Where, Matt, where is that? I mean, not specifically, but like what major city are we talking about? Yep, he did get involved with her. He wrote and narrated a pretty good Iridium Group. Ed, what? Who are we talking about, and what was the book? Mojave Desert. Yeah, yeah. Hey, but there's some guys in the desert that are doing water catchment that are fucking pretty good. If you look up like desert water catchment, you'll probably find this dude I'm talking about. I want to say he's in Arizona, and he uses big like billboard tarps, and he's just put in a bunch of swales, and it only rains a few times a year, but he has huge water holding tanks there. I don't know about her loving being great. I think she just gets with weak dudes. Broken dudes. She can smell them out. Got my stepdad into using lobster compost, and it blew up his garden in one season, especially kale and tomatoes. What, Sean, what is lobster compost? Is it like the shells and shit from, like chitosan from shellfish? Main Prepper. It was a prepper community book after an event. Pretty well thought out, narrated by him. I have a copy. Awesome, Iridium. Awesome. You ever read Lights Out by David Crawford? David's alumni. That's my fault. I got David to come be alumni. I just reached out to him and said, hey, I love your book. I want to send you some stuff. We became friends. When he finally published the book, he quoted myself on the back, had met James, quoted James on the back of the book. It has rained more these last few years than usual. The hot spring is one mountain over. Love the little promo item that came with April Fool's Day. Still need to figure out what it is and how to use it. Right on. Well, don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody. Clear plastic bags collect condensation in sun, have it drip in a bucket, no rain. Are you talking about a solar still? New field, building shade for ranch animals in Texas and piping the rain off the tanks instead of Texas open ponds. Had some Milwaukee tools come up missing today from our business. I know you've had similar, infuriating. How do you deal with it? The mental part. LW, I don't have... Are you talking about, like, you had some employees steal them? I just have employees that don't take care of them. You have to issue them to them or make them give you something of value so that they are sure to come back to you. But my problem is that I just allow people to, work and just assume they're going to, and I don't have enough oversight. So really, I mean, it's my fault. But as far as stuff being stolen, we don't get shit stolen. My brain is a solar still. We got some awesome rain today, followed by a little. We're supposed to have a lot of rain tomorrow. Fishermen have tons of lobster shells and fish bones. Got it. Nope, just a bag in a cone shape. The sun creates condensation. Got it. You bought the Milwaukee chainsaw. Yes, I have it. I'm balls deep in Milwaukee. I haven't even opened it. I think it's still sitting right over here. We needed one the other day, and the blue one was already out of the box, so we used the blue one. Here's the Milwaukee one right here. I do use that Milwaukee shop vac literally every day, multiple times a day I use this thing. Alpine White Day Pack. We haven't done them yet. This one right over here. It's been a few years. Did you ever find out why Pablo? No, man, I haven't. I talk to him every now and then, maybe twice a year through Instagram. I'm sure whatever he's doing it at the top level of the field. If you look at his Instagram, he fishes like bass fisherman a lot, does kayak fishing and stuff. I got a buddy that sees him every now and then. Pierre and Dana ran into him, I don't know, maybe 3 months ago. Pierre's like, hey, we ran into Pablo. I'm like, did he say anything? I don't know. And he said, no, nothing at all, man. I said, okay, cool. And that was it. Lights Out and his other book, Collision Course, probably back. Yeah, he did another one called The Bug Out also. He has another book that I read that I don't think he's finished. Throw the Milwaukee chainsaw in a compound video, please. I know the neighbors hate electric chainsaws. Any chance Scully could ever teach a class in Self-Reliance Festival? I'm going to go with no. I talked to Jeff the other day. I sent him a bunch of video stuff. He's like, that's fucking awesome. I go, do you want to go? And he said, man, I'm locked down on the farm. And he said it doesn't matter. If Jeff wanted his shit out public, Jeff's doing what Jeff wants to do. I would say that Jeff will not be anywhere for a course or a class or anything else. Would I hire Pablo back? No idea, man. No idea. You guys are talking about some shit that was what, 6, 7, 8 years ago at this point? Like, I'm sure we are both very different people. I guess I'm not very different, but who knows? John, what was the brown goo? Ethanol? I don't know what we're talking about. What's next summer planting? Do you mean this summer? Do you mean like this summer that hasn't come yet? Sean Cronin, buddy, I don't know what I'm doing fucking in 30 minutes from now, much less planting next summer. Are those rear rest bags? I have sand socks. We have sandbags. I have a lot of them. Are you talking about these? No. It always trips me out when guys want to use these as a rear stock bag. They're fucking triangle. There's not a flat side on them. I mean, I guess you could kind of, but it's very much not ideal. Paul Revere, what's up? Have you started seeds yet? Yes, we have seeds started. We have a lot of seeds started, actually. I've got plants that I'm putting in beds tomorrow. I've got a ton of potatoes we're about to put in. I just dug through all my beds. I pulled a ton of potatoes out that I never pulled out over the winter. I've got a ton of potatoes out in those, I guess they're 25 gallon. Yeah, I guess they're about 25 gallon. How old do you think the blueberry plants you just got are? Uncensored? I don't know, but they're big. They're big. I bought a few years ago, I bought 90 some blueberry plants that were in 1 and 2 gallon pots. And he said those were 1 year and 2 year. These things that we just put in are bigger than any of the blueberry plants that have been on the property for over 3 or 4 years now. They're really big. And they already have like buds on, even though they're out of the ground, there's still a lot of dirt around the root ball. And like there's fucking bees on them all the time. Yeah, everyone has a gremlin that steals a 10 millimeter socket. I don't know why they even continue to make a fucking 10 millimeter bolt. Why don't they just make them all like 9 or 11? Because nobody has a 10 millimeter socket. You gotta try heating the macros donuts. It's not my thing, buddy. It's not my thing. How do you think the blueberry plants, if there was a split, Matthew Matrix, I don't know, are those rear rest bags? But I'm not. It's a fucking cock. It's so you hand it to somebody and you go, here, do you want to touch my cock? That's what it's for. We make rear rest bags. I have a fucking ton of them right now. Had yours for 3 years and it's 2.5 feet tall. That's probably what mine are. Mine are probably about 3 to 4 feet tall, some of them, and some are definitely doing better than others. So I got all rabbit eye blueberries, which has a big, blueberry on it, and I got 7 varieties: Climax, Ecstasy. They're all like names like that, sexual names or whatever. And then I was just watching a video on blueberries a few weeks ago, and it's some guy that's he deals with somebody from some college that's like the top of the leading spear for blueberry production, and they said nobody's growing rabbit eye blueberries anymore. Like nobody even uses them. Oh, Ichthymal. It came back. Yeah, Ichthymal. You can get it off Amazon. You can buy it at Walmart. Pine straw mulch helps, right on. Mine have a lot of pine trees on that hill there. Yeah, pine straw, because they need acidic soil. They want acidic soil. They do better. You can mulch them for, pine straw. David the Good, all David the Good stuff is very good. Keep in mind, David the Good is in Florida, so some of the stuff that works for him might not work where you're at. I don't think he ever gets snow. Do I have a retirement plan or just keep going till legs go? What you guys don't realize is I'm already retired. I'm doing exactly what I want to do. There is literally almost zero through the day that I do that I don't want to do. I just don't do shit I don't want to do. We turn business down literally on a daily basis because it's shit that changes the course of my life that I don't want to do. Multi-packet 10 millimeter sockets from Snap-on. So what are they? $150 a piece? Earthship house. I think Earthship houses are awesome, but every time you see an Earthship house, it's always a fucking wreck. I mean, yeah, I think they're great, but I mean, where are they doing them? New Mexico? I heard Lights Out is good, but what about the Going Home? Yeah, I like the Going Home series. I just listened to them all a few months ago on audiobooks. Strawberries are great. Just blueberries suck here. I have added acidic soil amendments, but no luck. I'll try pine straw. You got enough sun on them? I'm about to split up a bunch of pots of strawberries and put them in my grow tower. Green stock grow tower. I don't know what it's called. Has business changed since the Great War on Terror is pretty much done? Or are you still getting tons of military stuff? We get some soft guys. We don't do any government. I don't do anything that has to go out to bid. We still get some government stuff that goes to bid, but the part number is written with my company name and the part number. So when that goes out to bid, no matter who wins the bid, it has to come from my company. So sole source. But we don't change. We don't. If I get a request for bid, and I don't ever reply to a request for bid. We ignore them. If somebody's looking for our product, we know that they're after our product before the fucking vendors even know that they're after our product. So we already know what's going on before the guy asking. The guy asking usually doesn't have a fucking clue what's going on. I can tell you, I can sell every single, and usually on a government contract, they want a discount, they want a quantity, they want time priority, right? I can sell every single stitch that these sewing machines can sew down to you guys, to individual customers, and not have to have some fucking time delivery or some issue. We can sell everything we make. I had 63 US dealers and 52 international dealers. We canceled our entire dealer program. We sell everything direct to consumer. Buying a house soon. Hope to have a garden to can fresh plum tomatoes. Growing up, old Italian grandmother did it. Right on, man. All right, guys, I'm going to start shutting this stuff off. So last comments, anything you want to discuss or say? Carl Linder, what's up, man? How are you? It's been a long time. Do you know what's a trip? It's a trip that there are 103 people on here right now, but there's only like a dozen people commenting. Just recently learned about military contracts and pricing bullshit involved. How we have to pay whatever the contract was bid at seems like a racket. How often do we have to fire customers? So let me preface that. People don't realize. So I had a dude that sent me yesterday. I think it was yesterday. He had something on order, a Day of the Dead bag, like a grocery bag or tool bag light. It was just something, for some reason, the order hadn't shipped. But he messaged, and he's like, you guys send me text messages of stuff you're building every day, but you haven't built my shit. And I've sent, I think he said 4 or 6 emails. I've sent 4 emails. So the first thing I do is I take his email address and put it in. I have one other email from him. And the way to get me to do what you want is not to point out that we're doing some other stuff. Like, I don't do passive aggressive. I just don't fucking do it. So I canceled and refunded his order. I said, hey, I've refunded your order. I go, and I've removed you from any of our marketing, so you won't see any of it anymore. And he came back literally with 6 paragraphs. I didn't even read them. I scanned through them, and I go, look, dude. I go, what do you think pays all these fucking bills? What do you think does this? We always build stuff. I go, I didn't read your 6 paragraphs. I glanced through them. I said, you clearly have an issue with how business is done. I go, and now you don't have to. And he sent me another fucking 6-paragraph email. I didn't read that one either. And I go, check it out. I go, for every one of you dudes that has a problem, I have 10,000 customers that are not having the problem. Same ordering scenarios, everything. But you're the dude who's having the issue. And he came back with another fucking 8-paragraph. Business principle, blah, blah, blah. I'm a psychologist. You're a tiny little man. Like, he literally said all this shit. I didn't reply to it. I just left it. He sent another fucking email today. Do you know what I did with it? I didn't fucking read it because it doesn't fucking matter. And contained in here somewhere was, if you didn't make the best equipment, I wouldn't put up with this. Well, you're not putting up with anything. You're fucking done here. You know what he'll do though? He'll go make another account or he'll have his wife order it. I don't do shit that, like, if it even gives me the most minor frustration, I remove it. I remove it. What people don't realize, do you know when you're driving in traffic and you got that bug spot on your windshield and you line it up with the car in front of you that's going really slow and you can't pass because of it, and you pretend you have a laser beam? I literally would, if I could vaporize those dudes through my computer with the push of a key, I would remove them that much from my life. Instead, I just don't do shit that I don't want to do. I have, because while that's in my head, I am not doing positive things and I'm not having forward motion. I have a ton of shit today. A ton of shit. I have hours of video. The video dude was in here cutting videos today. I shot hours of video. I shot drone. I have a ton of fucking progress today that I can actually document and show. How do we do our bookkeeping? I have the most expensive tax lawyer in Tennessee. I have a bookkeeper that he recommended that we've done business now with for 5 or 6 years. And then I think we're still using QuickBooks. I don't do any of that. When there's a problem, I'm called into a meeting in the top of a fucking skyscraper with a big ass fucking conference table. Helicopters fly past at the same level. But I have the best tax lawyer that there is. Front grill javelins are a fantastic idea. Almost every day I point out, if we could deal with people like that, think of all the free oxygen we would have. I don't have to, man. I just don't have to. Like, I'll go out of business. I will literally go out of business before I deal with people like that. And he's like, the customer, you need to build a relationship and you need to earn their trust. I don't, because for every one of those guys, I have 10,000 customers. You see all this shit right here? Guys buy it faster than we can make it. We literally made all of this today. Go online, somebody, and look. I'll bet you all of this is sold out right now. See those 3 tool bags? We just had so many orders from the weekend, we weren't able to pull them all. Those are sold. They're gone. Check me. See if what I'm saying is right. These mini packs, they're sold. They're gone. They're not online. You can't buy them. That's why I've never complained. It's worth it not getting... Rick, man, I get so many emails, and that's like they always tell you, you should hire some customer service representatives to talk to your customers. I don't need to. I'm okay literally killing a customer every month. I'll kill one and hang them at the front gate of the internet, to say I'm okay with that, because those guys, he tells me I've sent multiple new customers to you. You know what's crazy? If that's even true, those guys are still customers. While you're fucking irate right now telling them about what happened on the internet to that dude today, while he's out there running his mouth, whoever he sent to us, they're laughing about it. We're not losing any business because of it. I literally am moving to a point. It might be another year. If society stays as it is, there will come a day when I don't have a fucking a public-facing website. You will buy this shit because we will message you and let you know we have it. And if that's not you, if you're like, not me, I'm okay, man. Like, people don't realize 35 years in business. Like, that's what he wanted to take issue with. You do not have 10,000 customers. Motherfucker, I get 10,000 customers every fucking month. Like, he has no concept. Dudes are like, you're going to go out of business. That's why I like to tell him, I go, I pay more in taxes on a fucking week than you make all fucking year long. They can't fathom that. They just can't fucking put that together. One of the dudes I canceled, and I don't think this is not the same dude. I canceled a dude, it was a 58-inch belt. And he's like, I've waited all this time. You keep sending, like, that's the amazing thing, right? You keep sending me all these text messages and emails. Are you not subscribed to any other company that sends you text messages and emails every day? But the bigger thing is, like, there's a button that says unsubscribe. We didn't put your name in the system. You put your name in the system. And you had to click those buttons more than once for it to happen ever. You can remove yourself if it's a problem to see all the emails. I don't even know the emails we send out. I don't get my fucking emails. I'm not on my email subscription list. But you know how this stuff sells all the time? You know how dudes are like, hey, is that really sold out? Yes, because people who want to buy our shit are subscribed to the avenues of which we sell our shit. Large black tool bags gone? Oh, you mean the large black OD tool bags? I'm someone who has sent you by a customer of yours. I bought an EDC belt and have been watching videos of yours ever since. W83, thank you for being here, man. I'll pay extra for golden arches embroidered on it. We're not doing that. I need a 68 waistline tag. Are you fucking with me or for real? We make a 68-inch waistline belt. Every couple weeks we do something over 60. We've done them as big as 84. The thing, like, so I canceled that dude. He had a 52 or 58-inch belt, right? He sent me a message, sent me an email about how he gets all these texts and we're building all this shit, but we haven't built his shit. I'm going to go, good news. Your order's canceled and refunded. You have your money back. Go find another venue. Go find another supplier. I go, good luck with that. Like, there's not a bunch of companies out there making big boy belts. He came back and his whole thing, oh, I know what it was. In his original email, he said, it's taking so long because you get all this shit from China, but your website says made in the motherfucking USA. Yeah, that's why I walk around a building full of sewing machines, so I can trick you into thinking we don't get it from China. That's why I do a video every day showing real fucking people sewing. So I go, you're not going to find one in the size. It's not there. So he comes back. He bought one for $15 off Amazon. He goes, see, it's the same buckle. Okay. He sent 2 more emails. I didn't reply to either of them. Okay. I love those guys that are like, you're such an asshole and your shit's not worth it. Your shit's junk, right? They always say that after they don't get their way. When you were going to buy your $15 belt from Amazon, but you instead bought my $75 belt, why were you going to do that? Because you thought our stuff was shit? Teach me about Pride G. Got a few cans treated today. Harbor Freight has steel Jerry-esque cans right on. Belts are the beginner buy. SOE stuff will last. Yeah, we're just waiting on buckles, man. When the buckles hit, they trickle in. We have some. Just not yours. We have some. When they hit, we will spend an entire week making nothing but belts, and every fucking belt order will go out of here. And then we're going to turn all them belts off. We're going to turn them off. SOE body bags. Multicam Tropic or Mandrake stacked micros hydro. Probably not, buddy. Probably not. You don't have one on order, right? If there's something out there in limbo on order, and when I say that, those orders aren't lost. I don't look at the fucking orders. I don't look at the orders. So if you have one on order, of course we're going to run some. If not, probably not soon, man. When we run multicam or multicam black, I could sell 100 pieces of anything sitting here. When we do it out of Mandrake, I couldn't sell 3 of them no matter what it is. Javier Smith, you were not paying $90 for a jerry can, even remotely close to what Harbor Freight sells. It's not the same fucking animal. Take your Harbor Freight jerry can, fill it with gas, put it out in the middle of the sunlight and see what happens to it. Take an actual NATO can, fill it with gas. It's not ever a problem. It'll expand and contract for 10 years fucking straight. I had them sitting in the back of my truck. 170 degrees in the sun, swelled out, enormous, and then sucked in all through the winter when it was frozen ice. You can't do that with any of those other cans. It's the claw. It's that lock. You can find some copies kind of that look like it from China. When they swell up or when they contract, it cracks the seam in half. You'll have 2 half pieces of gas can. Javier, no, they're not the same brand. They are not the fucking same brand. Unless something has changed and your Harbor Freight has a gas can that I haven't seen. I've been to Harbor Freight, and 2 weeks ago I was in Harbor Freight. I'm there pretty frequently. They are not the same fucking can. Unless something has changed or your Harbor Freight has something that all the others don't have. I don't even sell the fucking gas cans. I have no financial vested interest in any of it any longer. They are not the same thing. That's like saying a Hummer 2, an H2 is the same as an H1. They're not. One's a minivan and one's a Humvee. Jen Griffin, what's up? Tired Eye. The Harbor Freight cans will hold fuel. I wouldn't keep them in the back of my truck like that, though. I don't know. These guys seem pretty sold on it. Your mileage, I would go look for yourself. Don't take what I'm saying. And remember that whoever you're listening to on the internet, I have no idea who these guys are. I've never seen them comment here before. Go find out for yourself. Better than plastic? I don't know that I agree with that, man. For how long? I have a bunch of square plastic race jugs out in my garage right now. Here, I'll go show you. And they're much more convenient than using the metal ones. The only reason the metal ones shine is if you have the cam lock on there. The metal ones shine because the lightweight volatiles cannot escape because of the rubber gasket that's in there and that cam lock on the lid. I have fuel that's been in them for 10 years untreated and use the fuel because they can't get oxygen. They cannot fucking, when they expand and contract, nothing can leave. If you smell fuel, let's go. You have here's listen through the plastic if you can smell it. There's another one. There's one right there. There's one right there. That's 3. And there's another one on the front porch right now full of fuel. Midway gas cans, not a clue, buddy. Is that a company, or are you talking about like the company Midway, the firearms company? There's another one right there. Rick Hunter, Wavian cans are the import. Made in Latvia, I believe. What's the old price of Wavian cans going? I bought 4 of them. I bought a pack of 4. I think I paid 85 bucks a piece for them when I bought 4 of them. I wanted black ones. They're the exact same color. I mean the exact same price no matter the color. I bought 4 black and I bought 4 more black. That's what's on all the trucks right now. I didn't want red cans or green cans. I wanted it to just kind of blend in at a distance. It wouldn't draw as much attention sitting on the backs of the trucks. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Everybody have a good night. Use your time. Evaluate your day. Stop and think, what did I do? Can I take a picture of it? Raid bags. Oh, yeah. Marksman Outdoors, they're not the same cans, man. Saved a Savannah cat this weekend. Right on. Right on. I try to run over cats every day. They have 9 lives. I've never even got one. Not really. I don't really try to run them over. I do try to run over a rooster every day. Javier Smith, California is always going to get more expensive. California is going to get more dangerous. We left California 15 years ago. When we came to Tennessee, my money literally tripled. Like, you can do things in Tennessee. We do things every week here in Tennessee that we would get arrested for doing in California. And you don't realize how bad California, even when you leave California, you don't realize how bad it was until you've been someplace with freedom for a couple years and then have to go back to California. You really realize how bad it is then. Because you're immersed in it. You don't realize how fucking bad it is, where they've turned off all the fountains and you have to let all your grass die and you can't water, all the shit you can't do. You have no idea until you've been someplace free. And even when you're someplace free, you don't realize how bad it was until you have to go back. How's my cardio? I did 30 minutes of cardio this morning. I went out in the gym. I got up at 4:30. And then I did 30 minutes of cardio on the treadmill at level 6, 3.5 miles an hour. And then I lifted weights. I used every single piece of equipment in the garage and then did some dumbbell work. I did a bunch of push-ups. And I did a full leg workout with complete upper body. I used every single piece of equipment in the garage with pretty heavy weight. I feel fucking fried. I expected to have a massage tonight, and my massage lady said she wasn't feeling well. So after doing a full fucking leg workout, I did not get a massage tonight. John Witherspoon, have a good night, man. Velcro tool organizers, we always have them. If you're concerned about it shipping, order the color you want. Say you'll take any color. I got black, coyote, and OD. That doesn't mean 2 guys didn't buy black before you, though. crushed legs yesterday, right on. So go do a bunch of body weight squats and lunges right now. You'll really feel legs, man. I've been going really, really deep on everything. All right, I've been up since 4:30. I have no idea what time it is. I've got to do some computer stuff tonight and then reset and do it all over again. I have a lot to show for today. A lot. I hope you guys do too. You guys have a good night. 45 minutes, intense stare, solid leg session, 4-7. Good for you, buddy. I hate the stair stepper. I've got one out there. All right, guys, good night.